Okay, great. So I'm just going to check that I am not going to die on us. Not literally, but technologically. Yeah, I think I'm all right. So this is our last session. Oh my God. So you've been going through the 7 Steps to Spiritual Alchemy program, which for the benefit of others, it has been kind of a spiritual inner journey through the path of the 7 chakras from the root to the crown. We're now at the crown, which is about kind of connecting to source, connecting to your oneness type of thing, really helping you find that soul purpose that you know you're destined for something greater. And it's to really look at that to end the 7 steps on. So the plan for the 7 steps is to almost help you see the tapestry of your life, why we are the way we are, why we see the world the way we see the world, why we think of ourselves the way that we are. And maybe we need a shift in perspective to help us become that greater version of ourselves. So it's understanding where we've come from, the belief systems, the mindset we've got, and helping to shift out of that belief system so we can expand and grow. A bit like Maslow, you know, that ability to self-actualize. This is really is the final stage. So you become a more wholly integrated person, knowing yourself on a deeper level than when we first started the sessions. So I read your crown intake form. So yeah, I did get goosebumps reading that because, you know, helping with life purpose and knowing that you've got a calling inside to expand and fulfill a potential that you've got within you. And listening to the limiting beliefs amongst that we place upon ourselves, this fear. And actually something just came to me as I was reading your form, that is our purpose. You can't be a teacher of something you haven't lived through.
Totally. Yeah.
So everything that you've said from the beginning about the beliefs that you had, the mindset that you had, and the wants and desires around being authentic is one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
You have to go through that pain to become that teacher of it.
Yeah, definitely.
So this is part of this is the part of the purpose, I feel. Anyway, how do you feel?
Yeah, same. I think there's something about the process. Trust the process. Has been like a phrase for years.
Yeah.
For me, and I think not discarding it or dismissing that as not part of it. I think accepting that that's part of the journey, and it's not like I'm just aiming for this ethereal place where I'm going to do this great thing. It's like, well, what am I doing now to make that happen, but also to be doing that now in my life now.
Yeah.
So I think there's been a journey of that sort of acceptance of it's all part of it.
It has to be part of it.
Yeah.
It has to be. It has to be, because it's almost like if you didn't have that yearning inside, then you would just be taking life day by day by day.
Yeah.
And it would just be, oh well, that's just the way life is. But you're kind of like, no, actually what I'm going through and what I've been through and the healing process that it's taken me through, because you've been prepared to do the work, that leads you on to, this is my purpose, this whole backstory of my life, why I've felt the way I've felt, and the fact that I've actually pushed through it, done the work on it. All right, it might not be perfect, and we have to keep reminding ourselves if that brain kicks in and says you're not good enough and hold back. That's where the work comes in. And the more that you can do that, know that that's still part of the process of you becoming that teacher of the thing that you finally nail, that you help other people with. So we have to see that pain that we go through, that pain and suffering, is the gift that we can teach other people.
Yeah, totally. I think is it Jung who says that you can only take a client as far as you've been
yourself,
willing to go. Yeah, definitely. And I think I forget that in the midst of it all.
We all do. Yeah. What did you get from filling out the consultation, the intake form?
Yeah, it's interesting because obviously I think it was I don't necessarily know if I've got answers, and I think that's okay. I think it's that acceptance word, in terms of, yeah, because it's a lot about looking forward and looking to the future, and that I think I know that there is something there, and I've got dreams and ideas and thoughts about that, but actually it's about, for me, being here now and seeing what I've got and giving myself time now, to explore that and to refine that and to understand it better.
Yeah.
Rather than always looking ahead to, oh, when I get there, it will be like this, and when I get there, so I want to know what's happening now. So I think even like with understanding spirituality, where I'm at with that and what that looks like, it's about giving time to the thinking about it. And I think that's a good thing about this course. It's that I've started. It's spacious. There's time to absorb all the information, and it's quite it requires a lot of personal my personal thinking and beliefs and stuff that goes into the work, which is great. So we've all been saying, oh, it just feels like we've got enough space to think and to work out, okay, what's my like ideas about what works in therapy, or basically what works in life. So yeah, that thing with space.
There was something I loved in the work that you sent me that you found on your computer meant to go to the university. And there was something in that, and I thought, that's so beautiful, was about the vessel. As you being able to offer people a vessel or a container for them to kind of put all their thoughts and feelings into it. I can't remember exactly what it was word for word. But yeah, it's about rituals and something like that. And I just thought that was so beautiful. And it was almost like the things that we've talked about, your story, are the things that you're best served to help other people with who are struggling with that. And although you might not feel like 100% there, and I don't think we ever really are, but it's like you say, give yourself that time and that grace that this is all unfolding for you. This is all unfolding perfectly for you. It's like you can't teach someone to climb Mount Everest when you haven't been through the pain and endurance, the pitfalls yourself. We can all get fit and train to climb Mount Everest, but actually climbing Mount Everest and doing the work is completely different. And this is the difference. You're climbing the Mount Everest. You know, you're learning about it. You're wanting to put the work in. And you're right. It's not about trying to race to get there to find the answer. The answer's already there. It's the thing that you've been through. It's the thing that you're wanting to develop in yourself. You can bring that forth for other people when you feel completely ready. So what I might do, how does that sound to you?
Good. Useful.
I'm going to play you the meditation, and just because I'm just interested to see what comes up for you. I know we didn't do it last week, it just didn't feel right timing last week. I'll play you the crown, just see if anything. Are you in the right space for it?
I'm in a physically, mentally,
good.
I'm in one of our therapy rooms, so confidential and quiet. So.
Good. All right. I'll press play and then you just relax and just go with this.
So making yourself as comfortable as possible now. Allow yourself to close your eyes and take your attention within. Taking nice deep breaths. Breathing into the heart, so the heart space becomes expansive and full of wonderful light. Allowing your body to become filled with the light. as you become embraced by this healing light, you feel safe, supported, and nurtured by this spiritual healing light. And just allow yourself with every breath to go deeper and deeper into this wonderful feeling within. And breathe. Now take a long, deep, meaningful breath and visualize a column of violet light forming a tunnel from the top of your head into the sky and cosmos above you. And this tunnel of light reaches way, way, way out to space. And simply breathe and let go as you travel through this tunnel, way, way out into space. And breathe. And in the distance, you notice a star signaling to you. And it feels so familiar. As you connect with this star, you become one with it. Your whole body turns into one beautiful star. And you feel a sense of unity. Connectedness. And a complete feeling of being home. So rest and enjoy this feeling of unity now. And as you bathe in this cosmic unity, you're one with Source. You're one with creation. And here you know your true meaning. You understand your full potential. You may even see your ideal life playing out in front of you. And it's better than you could have ever imagined. And just know, all you need, you already have. Just trust and let go. One of the most beautiful aspects of spiritual awakening is the discovery of one's own power. In each moment we have a choice. We can choose to live differently by releasing what no longer serves us. When we release certain fears, beliefs, or negative behaviors, we create space for more joy, positivity, flow, and abundance to come in as its replacement. So take this opportunity to bring to mind all the limiting beliefs, any negative feelings, any insecurities, fears, and blocks that no longer serve you and are blocking your spiritual flow. And gently repeat to yourself internally or out loud as you let these beliefs go. I am the light. I have everything I need and more. I am fully supported as I walk my path here on earth. And just taking some nice, slow, deep breath. Allowing that energy to penetrate from your head to the tips of your toes. And in a moment, I will count you back from 3 to 1, where you will open your eyes and feel wide awake, all ready to have the most peaceful and restful sleep. 3, starting to feel your back against the place where you're resting. And 2, wiggling your fingers and toes. And 1, opening your eyes and feeling awake and refreshed.
Yeah, we don't want you to go to sleep. I need to change that.
I'm so sleepy. Not now, but I was in the middle of that. But,
oh, how did you find that? Did anything come up for you?
I find it really hard to well, I didn't see like my life played out, but I had this like feeling when I was travelling up the tunnel when it said you see the star and it feels really familiar. And I had this feeling of like a not quite butterflies, but that feeling in my stomach of like I can't remember, but like just a heaviness or a feeling.
Yeah.
And, like I was spinning and like moving, kind of dancing, but like free falling, floating, and with the star it was like this connection. I think I can only relate it to the feeling of holding my kid when he was first born, that feeling of it just being right.
Yeah.
But it's just this like
pull connection kind
of. And we just kept spinning and moving and dancing and like weaving, and it just felt really free.
Yeah.
I didn't get anything specific in terms of visioning things, but it just felt right.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good. What would be really helpful for you to get from this session today?
I was thinking about limiting beliefs, and I really struggled to define them and what mine are. So maybe some clarity on that, maybe about things which I don't really see as limiting beliefs, but which are, maybe. And then just like, just finishing well, ending well. Just like kind of bring it all together, I guess.
Yeah, good. Let me ask you about, because last session something came up on the energy scan and it was food stuff, and then but we kind of got the feeling it was more related to maybe an inner talk that might have been related to when you were younger, but that there was that, and I know we talked about it in the previous sessions, but when in our texts you said you'd had some insight around it, or just some things that came to mind. What was that?
Yeah, just things around sort of, how I talk about myself and linking it to negative beliefs or limiting beliefs. I think I always think of those things as being like, I can't do this, or, I'm not good enough at X, Y, and Z, so I'll never get to do the thing that I want to do because I don't really have those sort of beliefs. But I think it's more about like being too much, or I guess which is within that, like being liked, and being like, I never would have said of myself as someone who's arrogant or overly confident, but it's interesting being in a new setting with the course and noticing that. I noticed that I sat on the front table for like the first 3 days. I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to stop this. I'm being way too keen, and like, I was like, was that deliberate? I thought I was just trying to sit with different people, but I can't put my hand up too much and make comments and everything too much. And there is something about new groups and checking yourself a bit, but also checking where it comes from. If it's a need to be seen as, I know what I'm doing, I know what's going on, but if it's just like I've got something interesting to add or something that I question, or then that's just that. So something about maybe that inner critic saying to hide who I am at times, or to dim myself.
Which is actually the opposite of what you're trying to become, isn't it? I'm just going to grab some paper because my brain doesn't function half as well as it used to. So I'm going to write them down when I ask you them.
Yeah.
I can never find a pen in this
No,
hand.
of course not.
All right, let me just see what the linkage is to the inner critic, because when we did the session, I felt like what was coming up was related to that spiritual connection and what could be potentially getting in the way of it. And for some reason that came up, the food issues, and then we kind of connected back to earlier years, not fitting in or feeling like you didn't fit in, and then an inner talk then creeping in. Then you, if I'm right, if I say anything wrong, tell me. So this is going off memory, that when you can be in situations, then the inner critic can creep in. And as a woman to a woman, I know at times when our body's not how we want it to be, we can certainly let those things take over us and feel that we need to be a certain way to have power or to fit in or whatever. So when you look at it like that, and I might be off track, I don't know, you know yourself better than anyone, so you tell me where you think it all plays out for you. But what do you think is going on?
I think, like, I'd be lying if the image and body image stuff was nothing. Definitely there, and there have been, not recently, but there have been times when we're planning to go out somewhere or like for a nice evening out or something, and I'm just like, got nothing to wear, and I feel crap about myself based on how I look, for sure, and it's affected my mood and how I then relate to people or relate to a situation or my enjoyment of it. I generally get over it by the time I'm there, but it can stress the preparation process. I think
what is it, just out of curiosity, what is it that you start to tell or believe about yourself?
Start to believe that, let me think.
Put yourself back there. I know it's not, but put yourself in that state.
I think it's about, I don't look cool or like right. Fit in.
Yeah.
It is about body shape, but it's more about like the clothes, maybe how they fit on me or how they sit on me, or
So you'll look and
Yeah.
go, I don't look right, and then what happens after
and
that?
then I'm not. People aren't gonna want to talk to me or want to. Is it want to talk to me? People aren't gonna want to. People won't care that I'm there.
Mm,
And won't be interested by me.
yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's so interesting because that's exactly, if I'm wrong, tell me. That's exactly how you felt when you were going back to like 14 or something like that, and you first probably started getting hormones, I think, and maybe
Yeah.
body shape changed and stuff. Is that a fair connection to make?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that thing of outsider or not being. Yeah, not. I think if I think back to like childhood and being excluded from things, it's more about I wasn't cool enough or interesting enough or pretty enough to be
Yeah,
of worth to people. They didn't want to be my friend because I wasn't enough of those things.
yeah,
Rather than like they said this mean thing about me or um, I felt lonely. Those were true too, but I think the thing of it is that I wasn't enough for that not to be the case.
yeah. So you had a perception that if you looked a certain way, you would fit into the group.
Yeah.
And if you didn't,
Or if I acted or
yeah,
if I said the right thing and was into the coolest thing or it wasn't so specific because I think that's the thing, I didn't know what it was that I was lacking
yeah,
to not be accepted. And it's probably less about me, but it made me feel like I was wrong and lacking.
When you look back upon that image that you might get of a time when you weren't accepted as a kid, like what actually happened for you to believe that you weren't accepted?
I did always picture my primary school playground and a game of tag post, like mob or whatever, one of these ones, and I was on and I was at the post and everyone went and hid and I opened my eyes and then they'd all left the playground and they'd gone to another play. They basically just stopped playing and left me to on my own but they kind of ran away from me. And other situations in the playground of just being left.
Yeah.
And then friendships that there's a couple of friends who left the schools, my like close friends.
Yeah.
And then another friend who was friends with, and then other people took her, or she went off with other people. Or like a friend from outside of school who we were really good friends with, but then she was in a different class and therefore kind of friends with other people. So then we didn't really play together at school, but it was no animosity. It was just that wasn't there in school. And I guess never fully questioning that, but also never fully understanding that. And those rules, unwritten rules.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so there's a lot of playground stuff.
Yeah, because there's no explanation.
No.
There's no closure on it. It's almost like, okay, if you were able to all right, imagine this scenario. If you were able to get hold of one of those children that ran away in that playground, I don't know, what do you imagine they would say?
Oh, it was just funny. Well, we're just having a laugh, or we just got distracted. I think I said about the situation where I had to crawl under the table to get something in class because none of them would move, and it's very much about. I think they would say, "Oh, we were just having a laugh as a group," not thinking about the pain it would cause potentially. We weren't thinking about that side of it. We're thinking about, "Oh, we're together and having a laugh." I think is the answer.
Yeah.
If they even remembered it.
Well, that's the thing, because kids don't have the concept of putting pain on other people, do they?
No,
the
not
shame
really.
it might bring to people, to other children.
Yeah.
They just don't have that bank at that age.
No.
But if you were to, like you say, grab hold of a child and that child went, well, it was just funny.
Yeah.
But then you, and as we do as kids, we internalize it, don't we? Do you think that was the first set up belief, or things already happened for that belief just to reaffirm what was already
Yeah, I
there?
think in my kind of adult brain I can rationalize it, but I think probably the friend leaving in reception, I didn't understand. Her family just left
Right.
and she disappeared, and my best friend, who was kind of like a cousin more, and her family, they just upped and left. I didn't know he got a job. They were moving away. Like, it was a really good opportunity. They've been thinking about it for a while, probably. It was just, this hurts. I haven't got my best mate at school anymore,
Yeah.
and my mum's best friend and my dad, and like the close family friends, they're gone. And we don't see them every day now.
Yeah.
I don't think as a 4-year-old I would have been able to understand the concept or the context. So for me, it was just a loss, and if it had been a grandparent who died, or another person who moved away, it might be different, because it was like about relationships and about my security in school, rightly or wrongly. I wonder if that's had an effect on then how I view relationships.
Yeah.
Did I do something to make her go? No, was it my fault?
Of course. Like, who else are you going to blame?
Yeah.
You're a 4-year-old child, or however, whenever this happened at school as well. You're a toddler.
Yeah.
You're a toddler. Who else are you going to blame? Toddler's brain doesn't go, maybe they've moved on. It's nothing. There's no rationale with a child. The brain's not. It doesn't function like an adult. Like, of course, it's about you. It's always going to be about you as a child. But that is not true. That's not true, and you know that now. The point is, when we have an impact, a trauma, an emotional stuckness trauma in the body, and doesn't have to be like, war-torn trauma. It can just be like a situation you said, something that gets internalized. It stays in the body. It creates a life of its own almost in the body. Yeah. Then any situation that happens again, that particular activating system in the brain goes, oh, that danger, it's happening again. Then it just confirms it even more. So then by the time we've got more of an adult brain, we wear these glasses that say, people always leave me, there's something wrong with me, people always leave. And we can create scenarios, we can set situations up where that happens for us.
And I think that, and almost preempting it. So not connecting, like in I think that thing I wrote, I said about like not fully connecting or committing, or or having surface level relationships.
That's it. Yeah, we've talked about that.
And I think because I had the boy's 3rd birthday party on Sunday, and had old friends who've been around. We've been friends for quite a while, but like I'm friends one-on-one, we're quite good friends, but in a group it's a bit different. And then they're really close friends separately and all this. And then I had some new friends who don't know those lot, but who are probably closer to me, but blah blah blah, and all these dynamics. And I was just noticing my, like, do they want to be here? Are they getting on? Like that kind of slight, not panic, but I was aware of my anxieties around it, definitely, and about like, is this a real friendship? Am I just inviting them because they've got a kid, and actually is this just nothing?
God, that's a lot.
So just I'm more able to just notice and not necessarily act on it, but still there as a response.
It will be there until you consciously work on taming that dragon, choosing a different pathway for the brain to connect to. And it could be a sentence that you repeat to yourself. I mean, what you just said there is classic, because what's important is, how is it affecting you today? And that's what you can work on. Fine, we realize where it stemmed from. How is it affecting you now, and what can you do about it? So basically what happens is, you might know this, like the brain fires and wires, and then it makes a connection, and then it just doesn't even think about it, and it's an automatic bodily response to a stimuli, which is a person's gone, left, internal state, that means X about me. And that's just a trigger. So it's learned habit, and we don't have to consciously think about feeling that way anymore. It just happens.
Yeah.
So that's just become used to walking that path. So all we need to do is create a new path. And the more often we do that and think about that, that then becomes the new way of walking. So in a certain situation, and you will have this quite a lot now with the newness of your life, then you have the best opportunity ever to start creating this new neural pathway of telling yourself this new statement about yourself, which feels true, which is true, but is more conducive to who you are and where you want to be.
Yeah.
So it could be something. What would you feel would be right? You know, when you were in that situation and you were panicking, you're having all these thoughts about your friends, and are they really there for me? What do they really think about me? What do I even think about them?
Yeah.
What would be a really true belief statement that you could live up to every time you're faced with this situation?
Something about I want to say I'm wired for connection, and I have connections,
Yeah.
or I can be a friend, kind of amalgamation of them, or I'm made for connection, and I have relationships.
Yeah. Anything that feels right to you.
Yeah.
It could be something like, I'm a good person,
Yeah.
and the right people will be around me for the right reasons.
Yeah.
You could say everybody is autonomous and people have choice and they're choosing to be with me now.
Yeah.
Anything that feels true, and that is true.
Yeah.
What I don't want us to do is form an affirmation that you're trying to live up to, but it's not true.
Yeah.
They don't work. It needs to be true, because you need to believe it.
Definitely.
And it could be when you feel a state of panic and anxiety, and your thoughts starts racing, that what is true. You could say, what is true about this situation now? And the truth is that they've taken you up on an invitation, and they're here now through their own choice and free will.
Yeah. 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 I like that idea of autonomy. So, like, people are choosing to connect with me.
Mm-hmm. On their own
And I can connect too.
Oh yeah, people are there around you because they want to be.
Yeah. And I know how to relate, and I can relate to people. Like, it's like that thing of not just.
And it's okay to be me, because the more they see of you, the more of the real you that you get, that you show.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things that you want to do, is show the real you. The more you do that, the less and less and less this old belief system will stand up. The more we fake and hide ourselves, the more insecure we are about our relationships.
Yeah.
Because we know we're not being the real person. So we don't know who these people like.
Yeah. Yeah, that's totally true. I think that thing about, I think I've not correlated. I've been very aware of the loss of my friend at that early stage being significant, but I've never correlated it to it being about how I would have interpreted that, really, other than it being sad and a loss of relationship. but I think correlating it to therefore I'm bad, or not good, or had a role in her leaving.
Did I do something wrong, or
Yeah.
Nobody's explained the situation, therefore she's left me? Like, what have I done? Yeah. And then obviously, that's why I say, was that belief system already there for then that other school belief, that other incident to just stack on top?
Yeah. Because then I think that both set that belief system and then set my insecurities in relationships. So then is if I'm constantly, I don't know, a bit needy or a bit, that's going to affect how a kid responds to me, So then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy a little bit of, because kids are jerks at times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's quite useful to tell my child self that I had no role in it. It was literally nothing to do with me.
Of course you didn't. The only thing that you're responsible for is your thoughts and your feelings and your actions. That's the only thing. And yet, you can definitely process that insight about where this has happened. And I definitely think it's a good thing to do, because then we can, as an adult, start to rationalize false beliefs that have been set up in our brain and how that has actually impacted the way that we talk to ourselves. So that absolutely links in to why you would say to yourself, oh my God, I need to be like the others to fit in.
Yeah.
And I guess when you're being triggered, because our body responds to it. And that's when the rational brain needs to kick in.
Yeah, and then we can counteract it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it's about what you said in the beginning about with this new class and everything, with this new training and the new environment, and you going, oh, am I being too keen? Then there's something in that again where the inner talk comes in, and it's questioning, do I need to hold back? Am I being too keen? What will people think of me? Again, that's another opportunity for you to form this new neural pathway. And I don't know what the belief statement would be, but it's definitely something around, I'm doing me today. And that's going to be changeable, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there's definitely something in your capability of just showing up and being you.
My phrase of choice is you do you.
Yeah.
In terms of like what you believe and how you want to live your life. Kind of within limitations of not hurting people deliberately. Yeah. But like that thing of religious beliefs, or I don't know, just whatever. And I think I need to learn to apply it to myself a bit more in terms of and sometimes I can explain what I'm doing to other people and they'll get it, and sometimes they won't, and that also being okay.
Yeah. Authenticity is the epitome of just being yourself.
Yeah, true.
And it's hard work, and it does feel like climbing Mount Everest when you're trying to change 30 odd whatever years of a way of being. You're basically recreating yourself, which means you have to recreate your brain structure in this way, and that's giving it a new thing to focus on. But the more you do it, the more automatic it becomes, because that's just science. The more you practice something, you become an expert in it. You're an expert maybe in bending yourself to please other people.
Yeah.
And now you're going to become an expert in being able to be you and allowing others to be them fully. So that requires you lessening the judgment on you. Therefore, you lessen the judgment on other people. The more you show up and just be yourself and have that deeper relationship to yourself, which is number one, killing that inner critical voice that tells you you're not right and you don't fit in. But the more you will allow other people to have that relationship with you, because without you knowing it, the judgments we put on ourselves, we don't just judge ourselves with that same judgment. We judge other people with it as well. So when we let go of that judgment we put on ourselves first, we stop doing it to other people, and then that whole kind of relationship dynamic changes.
Yeah, and I think I'm trying to do it the other way around. And maybe they both can happen in tandem, but I think I'm becoming very aware of, not where possible, not judging others, and you do you thing.
Yeah.
I was going to do me.
You know what? It's like, honestly, I still catch myself now, like judging people a little bit in ways where I think, oh God. Yeah. And then I think, do I speak to myself like that? You know, so, then I think, well, where does that hold me back?
Yeah. It's like the whole shadow stuff. People shadow, and
where does that actually hold me back? So, yeah, maybe freedom lies in not really having judgments on things. Like freedom is letting go of that. This is the way it should be. This is the way people should behave. Who says?
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
Do you think you'll be able to catch that voice that starts to say you don't look right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that thing of catching it, it's not necessarily stopping it, or maybe it is at some point. Maybe it becomes so quiet that you don't hear it. But yeah, I think it's possible to kind of notice it and come at it with a different attitude or affirmation or response.
Yeah, I mean, just something that's worked for me, and it might work for you, it might not. But when I catch myself kind of going into that phase of, oh, don't like my body, I just bring gratitude that I've got two legs that work.
Yeah.
You know, because if you can kind of realize how lucky you are, you know, and your body is always listening and responding.
It is.
So let's just backtrack. Anything you want to add, or?
No, I think that's pretty thorough. Yeah, I feel like that's just got me sort of food for thought.
Yes. What would you say to people who, what if you could sum up this process? What would you say? It's
been a really lovely way of looking at so many different aspects of me and of my life, and it's given me the space to process, to look at what's holding me back, or what strengths I have, or different belief systems and ways of thinking that I maybe just accepted, and instead of just actually questioning them, and I think there is a huge, for me, the huge part of it was actually just giving myself the space each week or each session to think about these things, and I think the specificity of each session has been really helpful to like focus it. it's kind of focused, but it's always broad. It's always looking at the whole person, but there's just like an element that we're like focusing on. I've really enjoyed that as well.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's been really positive.
What do you think's been your biggest takeaway from it?
Accepting who I am and what I'm about.
Yeah, good.
Even if I can't explain that fully, or convince other people, it's okay. Just really reflecting on early experiences and past experiences and how that's affected and shaped me, which I've done before, but I think writing it down was really helpful.
Did you enjoy that? I was going to say, how did you find the workbooks?
Yeah, I found them really useful because at times I felt like I was like repeating myself a bit, and then I'd go, oh, actually, there's something in that.
Yeah.
And just writing down some of the things which happened, and I'm like, oh yeah, that is quite a lot to kind of for a young person to process. Like
through, yeah,
maybe that is significant in who I become. And what are the takeaways? I think for me, it's a self-care time, giving myself time and space.
Yeah,
thinking about this stuff is really important.
What do you think was the biggest insight you got into your life, or where you could change, or what you want to change? Anything?
There's stuff about my mum, my relationship with my mum, which is ongoing.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of work there. If she is willing, when we're willing, when we're able, and about the impact that's had on me. And then, the kind of limiting beliefs, self-talk stuff that I think is so ingrained that I don't notice it. Sometimes, like today, about the sort of just putting two and two together to make something else. Just noticing that, that thing that happened, that's made me think that. And it's stuff I've gone over before, but just looking at it in a different way.
Definitely agree with that. I guess probably one of the biggest takeaways I've got from working with you with the 7 steps is to see how these early belief systems create an inroad that it could be an A road, and then it turns to a motorway junction that we just drive down every day because we're just these automatic behaviors. And there's probably 10 different ways to get to London, so it's like, but we just get stuck on this way. And it's about realizing that this path doesn't serve you at all. It happened for a reason. The reason why, and now it's, well, how do I get to where I want to go? We're taking a different path, and that has to then become your new belief statement, because you're literally, if you recreate your brain the way it thinks, that would change the way that you behave, and that ultimately changes your reality. You can't change your reality from the level of thinking that created, let's say, the problem. I think that's a famous saying from somewhere. So we have to change that mindset, that thinking, and that is noticing where am I limiting myself with those thoughts, those negative thoughts, and how can I change them? Change them in the moment. Recognize when they come up through the body response and change it. If you can't change it in the moment, it's fine. But when you get a chance to reflect on it, you can still have that same effect of changing the wiring of the brain.
Yeah, and I think it's that time to reflect thing, which I think that I give myself time, or I think that I don't have anything to process. But we always do. I think I've just become more aware of that over the last few months, of actually there's a lot going on, and there's a lot to kind of rewire or think about. So
well done. I really enjoyed working with you. You've put so much effort into the workbooks, which just means that you're just showing up ready to do it. So that I really am grateful for that. Is there anything that you haven't enjoyed about the process?
No, I don't think so. Not that I can think of. At times when I thought about the workbook, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm actually doing it. Brought a lot of insight. So they were useful, even if it felt at first I was like, oh,
Yeah.
writing a load of stuff, and then obviously I've got verbal diarrhea, so I just go. Yeah, no, they were good. And then even like the times we felt like the last session, when was it last session or the one before, where with the whole food stuff, where we felt a bit stuck or a bit like, is this it? Even having that and really burying down into it and going, hey, what is this? Is it that? Is it? That was useful as well.
I appreciate that came up for us, and it was uncomfortable, and there was resistance there, and it was like, oh, crikey, but you know, but then when you dive into it, it's just giving us a little signal, wasn't it? It's like, just look here a little bit, just uncover this little bit here, because this is actually a massive thing. The way that, you know, the way that she's talking to herself, that's what came up for me.
Yeah.
So I was grateful for that little piece of information, and I thought, well, it's going to go two ways here. You're going to get really pissed off.
It's more like I was like, I think I was really tired that day as well, so I was just like, I just don't know, is it
yeah. And I was like, oh god, have I pushed the boundaries? But
no. And I love the Disney references as well.
Yeah, me too. Those Disney films, my god. Oh well, look, I'll keep in touch with you anyway. Okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for everything.
Take care. Good luck with everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
Bye, love.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.